He kissed her like Lagos had stopped moving, like the traffic on the Third Mainland Bridge had gone quiet, like the generators had cut off and the whole city was holding its breath. His hands, the same hands that signed billion-dollar contracts and reshaped skylines, were cradling her face like she was something rare, something he had spent his whole life almost finding. And Adora Johnson, who had spent years making herself invisible, felt, for the first time, completely seen. She would remember this moment long after everything else tried to erase it. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. Let me take you back to where it all began. Hello, family. Welcome back. Before we go any further, I have one small request from the bottom of my heart. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Your support is what keeps these stories alive. Marcus Bennett arrived in Lagos on a Tuesday morning with no convoy, no announcement, and no patience for ceremony. He stepped off his private jet into the thick West African heat, wearing a white linen shirt, dark trousers, and gold-plated cufflinks that caught the sun like quiet punctuation. The kind of man who made airports feel smaller just by walking through them. 38 years old. African-American. Built from nothing. His name meant something in New York, London, and Dubai. Now he was bringing it to Lagos, officially to expand his tech and real estate empire into West Africa. Nigeria was the frontier, and Marcus Bennett had never ignored a frontier. But the truth? He was also running. His engagement to Cassandra Vale, New York socialite, constant fixture in glossy magazines, had ended 6 months earlier. She released a statement to the press before she told him personally. He found out from his assistant on a Monday morning between 2 meetings. Marcus Bennett, who had never lost a negotiation, had lost something that had no name in any boardroom language he knew. So he came to Lagos, told himself it was business, told himself the ache in his chest was jet lag. His mansion in Victoria Island was ready. Staff selected through a trusted agency. Protocols established. The household ran like a quiet machine. And somewhere inside that machine was Adora Johnson. She had not planned to be there. 29 years old. A mass communication graduate from the University of Lagos, sharp and composed in a way that interviews never rewarded. 2 years of applications, rejections, and silence while her mother's kidney condition swallowed every naira she managed to save. The placement agency had called on a Wednesday. The job was structured, professional, and paid more than anything she had found. The rules were simple: maintain the household, respect the schedule, and do not disturb the principal unless necessary. Adora was exceptional at not disturbing people. For 3 months, she moved through that Victoria Island mansion with quiet efficiency. She saw Marcus Bennett the way you see weather, present, powerful, something to work around. He was always on calls, always leaving, always returning after the house had gone to sleep. She never thought he noticed her at all. Then came the storm. Lagos rain does not ask permission. One moment the sky was the color of a bruise. The next, water was hammering the mansion windows like it had a grievance. The roads flooded within the hour. The last bus was already gone. Adora was stranded. She had settled in the staff quarters with a book and a cup of ginger tea when she heard it, a single glass shattering somewhere in the main house. She found him in the living room. Marcus Bennett, standing at the floor-to-ceiling window, a broken whiskey glass at his feet, watching the rain like it was the only honest thing in the room. He turned when he heard her enter. And for the first time in 3 months, he looked at her. Not past her. At her. "You don't have to clean it up," he said. His voice was quieter than she expected. "Just sit. If you don't mind." Everything in her said decline. Step back. Stay invisible. But his eyes. A man who owned everything. Alone in a foreign city. In a mansion full of staff and completely, utterly alone. Adora sat down. Outside, the storm had no intention of stopping. And neither, it turned out, did they. The rain did not stop that night. It kept falling, steady, relentless, the way Lagos rain does when it decides it has something to say. It drummed against the roof of the mansion, slid down the tall windows in long silver ribbons, and filled the living room with a sound that made the rest of the world feel very, very far away. Adora sat on the edge of the sofa. Not relaxed. Not comfortable. Perched. The way a woman sits when she is reminding herself she can leave at any moment. Marcus sat across from her, his long frame folded into the armchair, elbows resting on his knees. He had poured 2 glasses of red wine without asking, set one on the low table in front of her, said nothing. She looked at the glass for a long moment. Then she picked it up. They talked the way strangers sometimes do during storms, carefully at first, then less carefully, then not carefully at all. He asked her how long she had been in Lagos. She told him her whole life. He said he envied that, knowing a city the way you know a person, having history with a place. She asked him what brought him here really. Not the business answer. The real one. He was quiet for a moment, swirled the wine in his glass, looked at it like it held something he was deciding whether to say out loud. I needed to remember who I was before all of this, he said finally. He gestured at the room, the marble floors, the imported furniture, the kind of silence that only expensive houses have. Sometimes you build so much around yourself that you forget what's underneath. Adora looked at him, really looked at him. She had spent 3 months seeing only the version of Marcus Bennett that moved through this house like a force of nature. Controlled, purposeful, untouchable. A man who made the air in a room rearrange itself when he entered. But this man sitting across from her in the dark, in the rain, with his cufflinks undone and his voice quiet. This was someone else entirely. This was the man underneath. She told him about her mother without planning to. It came out slowly. The diagnosis, the hospital visits, the bills that multiplied faster than she could address them. The job applications that went nowhere. The pride it had cost her to walk into that placement agency and say I will take whatever is available. She did not say it for sympathy. She said it because he had been honest with her, and it felt wrong to offer him anything less in return. Marcus listened the way very few people listen, completely still, eyes on her face, not waiting for his turn to speak, but actually absorbing every word. When she finished, the room was quiet except for the rain. You're not what I expected, he said softly. She raised an eyebrow. What did you expect? He smiled, slow, a little surprised by itself. I don't know. I didn't expect to be sitting here having this conversation at midnight. Neither did I, she said. And for the first time that night, she smiled back. It happened gradually, the way the most significant things always do. At some point she had stopped perching on the edge of the sofa and settled into it properly, her legs tucked beneath her, the wine glass cradled in both hands. At some point he had moved from the armchair to the sofa. Not dramatically, just naturally, the way the conversation had pulled him closer without either of them deciding it. They were not touching, but the space between them had become something conscious, something both of them were aware of without acknowledging. He reached across and refilled her glass without asking. His hand passed close enough to hers that she felt the warmth of it, not the touch, just the warmth. She did not move her hand away. He noticed. He set the bottle down slowly. Neither of them spoke for a moment. Then he turned to look at her, and she turned to look at him at exactly the same time, and something in the air between them shifted, like a current, like a key turning in a lock that had been there all along. Adora. He said her name like he was hearing it for the first time, though he had seen it on her employment file months ago. Like the name itself meant something now that it hadn't before. Marcus, she said quietly. Just his name. Nothing attached to it. But the way she said it, without the sir, without the professional distance she had always maintained, made something in his chest move. He reached up slowly and touched her face. Just his fingertips. Against her cheek. Light as a question. She closed her eyes. The first kiss was gentle. Hesitant and certain at the same time. The way a first kiss is when both people have been trying very hard not to want it. His hand moved from her cheek into her hair, and she felt the warmth of his palm against the back of her neck, and the careful distance she had built around herself for years began, quietly, to come apart. She leaned into him. His other hand found her waist, not grabbing, not rushing. Just resting there, like he was learning the shape of her. Like he wanted to be certain she was real. She turned toward him and her hands found his chest, felt the warmth of him through the linen of his shirt, felt his heartbeat. Quick, not as steady as she would have expected from a man who seemed to have mastered everything. He was nervous. That undid her completely. He pulled back just enough to look at her. His eyes searched hers, making sure. Asking without words. She answered without words. The rain kept falling, and somewhere in that Victoria Island mansion, in the blue darkness of a Lagos storm, the distance between a billionaire and his maid dissolved like sugar in warm water. Slowly, completely, and with no possibility of going back. They did not sleep until the sky had begun to pale at the edges. And when morning came, quiet and golden through the tall windows, Adora lay with her head against his chest listening to his breathing slow into sleep and understood, with a clarity that frightened her, that something had changed in her that could not be unchanged. She watched him sleep for a long time. Then very carefully she got up. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to join our family. Through these stories, we build hope and remind each other that love, real love, is always worth telling. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. She left before he woke up. The mansion was still and golden, the kind of quiet that only exists in the hour after a storm. Adora moved through it carefully, her footsteps soft against the marble, her chest tight with something she did not have words for yet. She paused at his bedroom door. He was still asleep, one arm stretched across the space where she had been. His face, that face that Lagos newspapers would soon plaster across business pages, was completely unguarded, soft in a way the world never got to see. She looked at him for a long moment. Then she walked to the small desk in the staff quarters, sat down, and wrote the only thing she could think to write. "Please don't look for me." She folded the paper, set it on top of her resignation letter, placed them both on the kitchen counter where he would find them. And then Adora Johnson walked out of that Victoria Island mansion and did not look back. Marcus read the note 3 times. The first time standing, the second time sitting, the third time with his hand pressed flat against the counter like the house had tilted beneath him. "Please don't look for me." He looked for her. He called the placement agency. They gave him nothing. Professional confidentiality, they said, in the polished tone of people who had been instructed to say exactly that. He drove through Suralire on a Thursday with no plan and no address, just the memory of things she had mentioned in the dark. He asked questions he had no business asking. She was gone. Completely. Cleanly. The way only someone who had practice at disappearing could manage. For the first time in his adult life, Marcus Bennett felt powerless. 2 years passed. Lagos did not wait for him to heal, and so he didn't. He poured everything into the work. New developments in Lekki, a tech hub in Abuja, a foundation that bore his name and funded infrastructure projects across 6 states. He became exactly what he had come to Nigeria to become. Powerful, respected, immovable. He dated. Carefully, briefly, without conviction. Socialites who understood the arrangement. Women who wanted the access his name provided. Nothing that required him to sit in a dark room during a storm and say anything true. He told himself he had moved on. He had not moved on. The foundation's Lagos renovation project brought him to Suralire on a Wednesday morning in March. The Community Development Center on Adelik Street had been selected as a distribution point, a clean, well-run facility that served hundreds of families each week. His project coordinator had prepared a full briefing. Marcus walked in with his team, already scanning the space, already calculating. Then a woman at the far end of the room turned around. Time did something strange. Not stopped. Lagos never truly stops. But stretched. Slowed. Like the city was giving him a moment to understand what he was seeing. Adora, 2 years older. Her hair natural now pulled back. She was wearing a simple blue dress and holding a clipboard and looking at him with an expression that moved through shock, through panic, through something quieter and more painful underneath. Neither of them spoke. His coordinator was saying something. Someone on his team was pointing at a wall chart. The ordinary machinery of the day kept moving around them. But Marcus and Adora stood completely still inside it. The weeks that followed were careful. Controlled. He kept visiting the site, officially for project oversight. She did not leave. Some quiet agreement existed between them that neither named. They talked. Slowly. Around the edges of what had happened. Until one evening when the sun was going low and gold over the Lagos rooftops, and they were alone in the center's small courtyard, and Adora reached into her bag with hands that were not quite steady. She pulled out a photograph. A small boy, round-cheeked and bright-eyed, caught mid-laugh in the way children are when the world is still entirely good. She held it out to him. "His name is Daniel," she said. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "He is 2 years old." Silence. "Marcus." She looked at him steadily, even though it cost her. "He is yours. If you haven't subscribed yet, join our family. These stories exist because you show up for them. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from." He did not speak for a long time. The courtyard was quiet around them. Somewhere in the street beyond the center's low fence, a hawker was calling out prices. A motorcycle was threading through traffic. Lagos was doing what Lagos always does, moving, breathing, insisting on itself. But inside that small space, everything had gone completely still. Marcus looked at the photograph. The boy was laughing. Head thrown back, eyes crinkled shut, the kind of laugh that comes from somewhere deep and uncomplicated. Round cheeks, long lashes, and something else, something in the shape of the jaw, the width of the forehead, that reached across 2 years of silence and landed directly in the center of Marcus Bennett's chest. He looked like him. Marcus raised his eyes to Adora's face. She was watching him the way someone watches a building they are not sure will stand. Steady on the outside, braced underneath. 2 years, he said quietly. I know. Adora. His voice was low, careful, the way a man speaks when he is holding too many things at once. 2 years. I know. Her jaw tightened. I didn't know how to find you. I didn't know if you would. She stopped. Started again. I was scared. He looked back at the photograph. Daniel. 2 years old. Midlaugh in a world that didn't know his father's name yet. Something broke open in Marcus Bennett then, not violently, not loudly. The way dawn breaks. Inevitable and quiet and complete. I want to meet him, he said. He met Daniel on a Saturday morning. Adora's apartment in Sur-Île was small and meticulously kept. The kind of home that takes pride seriously even when resources are modest. There were books stacked on a shelf above the television. A child's drawings pinned carefully to the wall beside the window. A pair of tiny shoes at the door that made Marcus stop and stare for longer than he meant to. Daniel came out of the bedroom holding a toy car and stopped when he saw the tall stranger in his living room. He looked at him with the calm, frank assessment that only small children and very honest adults are capable of. Then he held up the toy car. It's red, he said seriously. Marcus crouched down to his level. Something in his chest he had not known was clenched, slowly released. I can see that, he said. Does it go fast? Daniel considered this with great seriousness, then nodded. Marcus smiled, and it reached his eyes in a way that had not happened in 2 years. The weeks that followed were the best of Marcus Bennett's life in Nigeria. He and Adora moved carefully, like two people crossing a rope bridge, testing each step before trusting their weight to it. But with Daniel, there was no caution needed. The boy accepted him with the open, uncomplicated generosity of a child who simply decided Marcus was good, and therefore he was welcome. Marcus took Daniel to the beach at Elagushi on a Sunday and watched him run at the waves and shriek when they chased him back. He sat beside Adora on the sand, and their hands rested close together without touching, and the sun went down over Lagos like something from a painting. He reached over and took her hand. She looked at him. He looked at her. Nothing needed to be said. He publicly acknowledged Daniel at his foundation's annual dinner in Lagos. A private event, 200 guests, Lagos business elite, a scattering of international press. Marcus stood at the podium and said simply, clearly, without performance, I am a father. His name is Daniel. He is the most important thing I have built in this country. The room was very quiet. Then it was very loud. By morning, it was everywhere. Nigerian blogs, international outlets, the kind of story that feeds itself. American billionaire claims Nigerian child with former household staff. His American ex-fiancée Cassandra gave an interview she framed as concern. His New York board sent a carefully worded message about optics and due diligence. Marcus read it all and felt nothing except a quiet certainty that he had done the right thing. Then his head of security placed a manila envelope on his desk. Inside was a single document, a DNA test result. Marcus frowned. He had not ordered a DNA test. He looked at his security chief. Someone sent it anonymously, sir, to 3 members of your board. Marcus opened it. 0% probability of paternity. The number did not make sense. He read it 3 times. Then he sat back in his chair and looked at the ceiling of his Victoria Island office and breathed carefully, the way he breathes when something is trying to destabilize him and he will not allow it. Then he drove to Sur-Île. He did not take his driver. He did not call ahead. He walked into the community center and found Adora at her desk and placed the document in front of her without a word. She looked at it. The color left her face. Marcus, was I your escape plan? The words came out before he could measure them. 2 years of discipline cracking under the weight of one document. Did you look at me and see a solution? A name to put on a birth certificate? Was any of it? Stop. Her voice was sharp, shaking. Stop right now. She stood up. Her hands were trembling as she opened her desk drawer and pulled out a folder, worn at the edges, handled many times. She placed it on the desk between them. Hospital records, Daniel's birth records, prenatal documents. Every date aligned perfectly with the night of the storm. I never lied to you, she said. Not once. Marcus looked at the documents, then at her face, then back at the DNA result in his hand. Something didn't fit. Who processed this test? She asked quietly. He looked at the laboratory name printed at the bottom of the document, and his blood went cold. He knew that name, Chukwuemeka Obi, a Lagos businessman who had been trying to dismantle Marcus Bennett's Nigerian expansion for 18 months. A man with resources, connections, and every reason to want Marcus humiliated and isolated. The same man who owned the laboratory on the document. Marcus looked up at Adora. The anger in his chest was still there. But beneath it, something else was shifting. Was the test manipulated? Marcus did not sleep that night. He sat in his Victoria Island office with the fake DNA result on the desk in front of him and made calls until the Lagos sky began to lighten. His legal team, his security chief, a forensic document specialist he trusted in Abuja. By morning he had enough to know what he already felt in his bones. The test had been tampered with. Chukwuemeka Obi's laboratory had falsified the result with surgical precision, the kind of precision that required both resources and desperation. 18 months of watching Marcus Bennett build an empire in his city had apparently been enough of both. Marcus sat back and looked at the ceiling. Then he picked up the phone and called a press conference. The room was full. Lagos press, international correspondents, television cameras from 3 networks. His board members watched via video link from New York, their faces tight with the particular anxiety of people who had tied their money to a man they were no longer certain about. Marcus walked to the podium without notes. He looked at the cameras for a moment. Then he spoke. There is a document circulating that claims I am not the father of my son Daniel. I want to address that directly. He paused. That document is a fabrication. The laboratory that produced it is owned by a business rival who has spent the better part of 2 years attempting to destroy my work in this country. We have evidence. The authorities have been notified. The room shifted. Pens moved. Cameras adjusted. But I want to say something beyond the facts. His voice dropped slightly. Even before I had that evidence, even when I didn't know what was true, I made a decision. I will not abandon that child. And I will not abandon his mother. Silence. Whatever this city, or my board, or anyone watching this decides about me after today, that does not change. Chukwuemeka Obi was arrested on a Friday. The evidence was substantial. Falsified medical documents, a paper trail connecting his laboratory director to Marcus board members, intercepted communications. It unraveled quickly once the thread was pulled. The kind of scheme that looks impenetrable until it doesn't. The headlines that had buried Adora, gold digger, opportunist, fraud, quietly reversed themselves. The same blogs that had dragged her name through their comment sections now ran her photograph beside words like vindicated and truth. She did not celebrate. She sat in her small Surreal apartment with Daniel asleep in the next room and stared at the wall and felt mostly exhausted. She was still sitting there when Marcus knocked on her door. He came alone. No driver. No security. Just the man, standing at her door in a simple dark shirt, looking like someone who had not slept properly in days, which he hadn't. She let him in. They sat in her living room in the quiet, and for a long time neither of them spoke. Daniel's drawings were still on the wall. His red toy car was on the floor where he had left it. I'm sorry, Marcus said finally. For the things I said at the center. I let anger speak before sense. Adora looked at her hands. You were hurt. That's not an excuse. No, she agreed. But it's human. He looked at her for a long moment. Then he reached into his pocket and placed something on the table between them. A ring. Simple, elegant, a single diamond that caught the light without demanding attention. I'm not doing this because of Daniel, he said quietly. I'm doing this because of that night 2 years ago when the storm came and you sat down when everything in you said to leave. Because of every conversation since. Because you are the most honest thing that has ever happened to me. Adora looked at the ring. Then she looked at him. Marcus, I know it's not simple, he said. I know what people will say. I don't care what people will say. She picked up the ring, turned it once in her fingers. Then she looked up at him with eyes that had stopped being careful. Yes, she said. From the bedroom, as if on cue, Daniel called out, Mama, and they both laughed, and the sound of it filled that small Surreal apartment like light. They married quietly. A small ceremony in Lagos, family and close friends only. Adora wore ivory. Daniel sat in the front row in a tiny suit and fell asleep before the vows were finished. Marcus Bennett, who had come to Nigeria running from something, had found something instead. A son, a partner, a home. And Lagos, loud, relentless, beautiful Lagos, had given him all of it. 3 months after the wedding, A letter arrived at Marcus Victoria Island office. American postmark. No return address. Inside was a photograph. A teenage boy. 15, maybe 16. And a handwritten note in a woman's handwriting Marcus recognized immediately. Cassandra. The note said 4 words. We need to talk. If you haven't subscribed yet, join our family. Through these stories we build hope and remind each other that love, real love, is always worth fighting for. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Part 2 is coming, and the storm isn't over yet.